So I've decided I'm going to put a drop bracket jack plate on the transom. I am going to go ahead and cut holes, access panels in here. I'm not doing the access panels up front, only in the rear of the boat. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a drill. I'm going to drill out these rivets and then get these off. That's going to be step one. Alright, got the first one off, and I'll show you how I did it. I watched a couple videos of people doing it. Let's see if we put that down in there. Like so. Once you pop through, you pop through. You're gonna want to jiggle it a little. Or not jiggle it, but back, like kind of like this while you're doing it. Just like that. A little pressure. See that right there? The rivet kind of came out. It didn't come out all the way, so that's what you're trying to break. So now that's broke, all we got to do is pop it back in. I'm going to get that out, of course, once I have the hole in it. And I got the saw coming. It's not here yet, or else I would have got this done in one night, but I'm waiting on the saw and the portholes. I'm going with 6-inch on both sides. I think that'll be plenty, because if I ever decide to put a 9.9 horsepower on here, I'm gonna need these open to really secure this thing. So here's a good look at the back of my Prowler, how I have it set up. I do have these two metal straps that I spray painted, but I've seen others and theirs looks way better, and that's just not. I'm gonna redo this whole thing, this piece of wood too. I already got the wood I'm gonna use, but I did make rod holders, if you can see there. Just like that, it's on. Got my cap, porthole access panel on, and I did 6-inch. I like it. Now I got a lot of access. I was really trying to stay away from having to do this, but I am totally glad I did. This is pretty awesome. Now I can really get in this thing and see what's going on with it. I really like this. I really like this. I am going to get in there and put something behind as a backing, so it takes a lot of stress off that plastic. But yep, that's how you do it. Portholes are done. First one's done. I'm going to do the other one just the same. Like, subscribe, and follow for more pond prowler awesomeness. Alright, so I ran into a little bit of a problem with this. So the whole, I would do the way the other people do it, the drywall, instead of the 6-inch blade, because literally it does not go. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to get my little jigsaw, cut around it, and then that's what I had to do on this one. But this is what it looks like when you're all said and done and finished. Of course, this is going bye-bye, because I'm going to be putting a through bolt on this right here. But yeah, so just make sure I would use a drywall hole cutter to cut the holes, because you can actually get it to the exact measurement. But what I'm doing is I put two little skinny drywall screws, barely fit them in, to hold this still. Now I'm going to mark it with Sharpie, and then we're going to cut it with the jigsaw. Alright, this is how off the 6-inch saw blade is. So this is how much I have to trim off here, and that's all the way around except for here. It looks more off because it's kind of tethered down here, because I didn't want to go any further here. But yeah, so now I'm going to have to get my jigsaw out. I already have pilot holes now for when I put it on. Use those holes. You don't make more holes than you have to. Use these holes when you're bolting down the mechanism. So yeah, there we go. Alright, there it is in all its glory. The portholes have been made. Now I can get in there and get to look. I can even access my electrical, everything. I got this idea from Terry from Pond Prowler Adventures. Thank you for everything, Terry. I kind of, you know, going off his idea because he's in a boat that's in the ocean, and that's kind of what I'm looking for. I want to be on the rough water as well. I think what I am going to do is go with my original backing. This is what I wanted to use originally. I think I am going to end up redoing this with this in there and really tightening this thing up, putting a backing plate back in here. So now these will be out of the way and stop cutting my fingers when I go to lift the boat. But this, for the most part, is pretty awesome. I got to vacuum that all out of there, and it gives you an idea of the foam, of its placement and where it's at and everything. So tomorrow I got to get some bolts for this going through. Look at that. This was out of place. I was able to adjust it. That's why I'm kind of glad I did this now. At first I was like, no, I'm not cutting into my hull, and look, I'm glad I did. Terry, you're the man. Pond Prowler Adventures. I think we all owe him a great deal of appreciation for all the how-to videos he does, and it gives people courage. Me, I'm an engineer by trade, but if I wasn't an engineer, it gives people courage to do something that they just paid $800-900 for. I bought mine brand new and it was like $800-900. And it gives people the courage to do these kind of things. You know, it's awesome. Thank you, Terry, for everything. But I'm going to one-up Terry. I'm going to be the first pond prowler that I see that adds a bilge pump. I'm going to put a bilge pump in there, and then I'll feel real safe about it. I'm going to have bilge pump in both of the pontoons. So I'm going to have 2 bilge pumps I'm going to run. It's going to be switch activated, so I hit a switch, boom, it starts pumping. And I'm going to have 2 bilge pumps for each pontoon. So yeah, I'm going to be the first one to do that. And I'll let you see how that happens and how I do that. And yeah, and then what I was thinking is on the side here, I'll put like a scupper that shoots out water, that has a scupper plug on it. Run a tube maybe to where this hole I already have, and it just comes out the back, you know. We'll see. I may not need it, not sure. I do have this as my bilge pump now, but I kind of would like to get rid of that and just put an electric one in there, because I'm gonna I have 2 batteries on board. I have the trolling motor battery and the fish finder battery. They both go to 1. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. Just a little update. I was able to put a new bracket on here. I got this off of eBay. Found the bracket. So if your bracket breaks from you tightening it, like this one on this motor, don't worry, because you can get them on eBay. It was $50. That's with shipping, which, I mean, I thought that was a little outrageous for 2 brackets, but I got both brackets. Now I got a spare, so if it happens again, I do got one more backup. But just to give you guys a little quick view of that, pretty cool if you ask me. All right.